again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Vandalia By The Way. My name is Rich Hopkins. I'm the communications manager for the city. And on today's program, we've got very exciting news on the economic development front as the city inches one step closer to landing a fairly large employer. We'll also give you the latest on a major road reconstruction project getting set to start here in June. But our first stop today is right here in the Skyview neighborhood. It's one of Vandalia's many fine neighborhoods, a number of smaller single-family homes. Now, this is a neighborhood that was in need of a little tender, loving care. City leaders had a unique idea. They put these homes in contact with volunteers looking to serve the community. The end result was one day of neighborhood beautification. It was a day set aside to improve the look of one of Vandalia's older neighborhoods. And thanks to residents, dozens of volunteers, and support from city staff, that's exactly what happened. Vandalia city leaders arranged for city crews and trash haulers to tweak the rules on what they typically haul away to include yard waste and larger items. Residents were then encouraged over the course of the day to trim their trees, clear their brush, take it all to the curb where the waste was quickly hauled away. And for those residents who needed a little help to get the job done, groups from the Vandalia Rotary and from Stillwater Seventh-day Adventist Church spent the day lending a helping hand. The groups also helped to lug other debris cluttering up the yards and garages out to the curb, where the city of Vandalia and Rumpke Waste Hauling hauled it all away. Audrey West used the beautification day to get rid of an old swimming pool that had been taking up space in her backyard for years.
I've been wanting to get rid of this mess in my backyard for quite some time, so I made a phone call and found out what it was all about, made the arrangements, and here we are. I'm finally getting my backyard cleaned up.
Once the work was completed, residents and volunteers joined up at nearby Jeffers Park for a party to celebrate the day's work. The Living Word Church brought along a bouncy play area for the kids, and the city brought along pizza and beverages to wash it all down. Plans are in the works now to host a similar event in the fall in another Vandalia neighborhood. Wes says if you get the chance to participate, you should take advantage of the opportunity.
I'll go for it. It's amazing. If you can get some help to do some cleanup and help our city look better, that's wonderful.
Wonderful was the word they used a number of times to describe the activities at the Vandalia Senior Citizen Center in May. Coordinator Ted Wigman says a recent cookout and outdoor concert was all put together to show members of the center that they are appreciated.
Every year in May is American Senior Month, and throughout the country, different people recognize the importance of our senior citizens. Here in Vandalia at the Senior Center, we've always had an event in May. And this year I decided to try to bring it outside and have a little picnic and cookout with it. So we went and got a band, as you can hear behind me playing. We had the folks sign up. We got one of our sponsors was Mercy Retirement Community. And then the folks from the city came out and donated their time to cook the hot dogs and hamburgers and serve our folks. And it was just a great turnout. Everybody's had a great time, and the weather cooperated and we didn't get rained on.
The music came courtesy of a nostalgia band that focused on music from the 30s and 40s. Meanwhile, city staff manned the grills and made sure all of the guests had plenty to eat. Wigman has been at the center now for just about a year. He says he's impressed with the people who make up the membership.
The folks that we have here in Vandalia Senior Center are just fantastic folks. They're always positive. They always got a smile on their face, and we're just happy we can provide the outlet for them to get out of the house and have a reason to get up every morning.
If you'd like more information on the Vandalia Senior Citizen Center, check out their website, www.vandaliaohio.org. Our next stop today is at Stone Quarry Crossings, where a national company is considering building a $22 million food processing plant. Assistant City Manager Greg Shackelford has been working behind the scenes for nearly a year to nail down all of the necessary details to get that company to choose Vandalia. Shackelford says a recent announcement by Montgomery County could very well be the last piece of the puzzle needed to convince that firm to locate here.
Project Foursquare, which we've been working on for probably close to a year now. We just found out that the county's recommended the EDGE approval for funding for $300,000 for this project, which is what we applied for. That's going to be recommended to the Board of County Commissioners.
The EDGE grant is a $300,000 incentive that would help the company to purchase the land for their building. Coupled with state and local incentives, Shackelford says the Stone Quarry Crossing site is a very viable option.
It's a next step from a local incentive standpoint. The state has been very aggressive in trying to provide a few alternative sources of as part of their incentive package for funding, and as I'd mentioned a few times before, this has come down to between our site here in Vandalia and Covington, Kentucky.
If the company chooses Vandalia, the next step would be construction of a state-of-the-art food processing facility, immediately followed by new jobs for the city.
A 78,000 square foot facility that will be essentially for a food processing company. They're actually going to process frozen meat inside this plant, and in the next 3 years, if it goes the way we had hoped it will, they're going to be looking to build to create 120 new jobs and potentially expand that in the future to over 200, maybe within 5 to 10 years.
Project Foursquare is not the only project underway at Stone Quarry Crossings. Shipping firm Carter Logistics recently opened the doors on a shipping operation that has literally hit the ground running.
They're going to run 3 different shifts with their different routes that they do. So hopefully the way it'll work out and the way that they explained it to me is only about a third of their fleet should be here at the transportation hub at a time. That should help limit the amount of traffic that we'll see here.
Also on the economic development front, All Services Plastic Molding is close to wrapping up work on a production facility in the Northwoods Business Park. Shackelford says the project is just weeks away from being completed.
They are probably about 90% completed on that project. We actually had a slight revision in their plans, and our building department, in particular Ted Baker, was able to get out there last week. They're going to add a small 20 by 30 foot clean room to the facility, which will allow them to bring a business line that they currently have at another location here sooner. So what that will mean to us is we're hoping to get approximately 100 more employees from another plant here in January instead of like April or May.
And while that project is wrapping up, Public Works Manager Rob Cron says summer roadwork projects and the orange barrels that go with them are just getting started. One of the first of the season to get going could very well be one of the messiest to navigate through, as Ohio Department of Transportation officials have closed Dixie Drive at Benchwood to start work on a road widening project.
They're doing some utility relocation work that is in preparation for the widening, and they will be replacing the large culvert that goes under Dixie. To do that work, the road will be closing on Thursday, June 7th, and will be closed for approximately 30 days.
Cron says the detour route involves taking drivers on Dixie down Stop 8 Road or Benchwood Road to Miller Lane to get around that closure. And while Vandalia drivers will receive the benefits of a wider lane of travel, they won't have to pay much of the cost for the work, as the state of Ohio is kicking in quite a bit.
This is actually a joint project that's managed by ODOT, with them paying the majority of the bill. The city is actually only responsible for about 20% of the cost of this project, so they're getting the most bang for our buck on this one.
ODOT is also taking the lead on a project that has Stop 8 Road closed at the I-75 overpass. The bridge over the interstate was closed in early May and will stay that way for just about 90 days as crews completely replaced that bridge damaged a few years back when a truck hit one of its support beams. Another road project getting underway is the Buttercup Reconstruction Project.
That project is going to consist of replacing an old cast iron water main where we've had some issues with over the years. We also are going to be replacing the storm sewer on that street, and then we'll be building a whole new street with new gravel and asphalt.
And every summer, the city selects a handful of streets to include in its annual resurfacing program. This project is funded through the Safe and Stable Income Tax issue, and this year will give more than 24 Vandalia roadways a fresh new look.
Also this summer, you're going to see several streets around the city of Vandalia getting a new surface put on them. We're in the process of doing our concrete work right now, and once that work is done, probably in July, you'll see the pavers move into town, and we will be paving approximately 25 streets in the city this year.
Most of the resurfacing work will begin in late June, with all of the work completed by the end of the summer, while the leaves on the trees are still plenty green. And speaking of green, that's the key word in and around Vandalia, as a task force initiative has named the city one of its Green Business Certification cities. City Manager Rob Anderson says the Dayton Regional Green 3 Task Force selected Vandalia for its efforts to cut energy consumption.
Essentially, it's a recognition of the efforts that the city went through a few years ago to be more energy efficient, be more effective with our utilities. So when we went through and replaced all of our traffic signals with LED signals, replaced a lot of the lighting in our city building, we really cut down a significant amount of cost on our utilities, and this certification is in recognition for our efforts to be more green and to save energy.
The city contracted with an outside firm to identify opportunities to save money by switching to more energy efficient equipment.
The costs that went into making those improvements we will recoup over a 5 to 10 year period, and actually there going forward with the savings will be all in pocket, and it's an effort that we needed to do anyway, because a lot of those things that we upgraded needed to be upgraded to begin with. This just allowed us to do it in a more efficient, green way that's going to save us money in the long run.
As a green business, Vandalia is now eligible for special rebates and incentives that could mean thousands of dollars in additional savings. Anderson says the cost savings are an important component of the program, but he says it's also important that the city lead the way in environmental issues.
It really helps to reduce our carbon footprint as a city, to be more energy conscious, energy efficient, as well as save money. It's good for the environment, and to be one of only a handful of cities to be recognized is important to us.
And finally, if avoiding traffic congestion is important to you, you'll want to join us as we check in with Vandalia Police Lieutenant Harry Bussey, who is in charge of managing the flow of cars in and out of this year's Dayton Air Show. Bussey says one of the big considerations for the air show each year is the weather.
The parking is in some great locations, not too far away. The north lot, you can walk across the street, walk into the air show lot. South lot, there's a shuttle service that runs out of that, but they are out into a very nice grassy area, and so rain and mud could be an issue. So the first thing we're hoping for is good weather.
Bussey says the key to getting in and out smoothly can be summed up in 2 simple words: pay attention.
We've got close to 100 signs posted, so please follow the signs. If you have past parking, we want you to go north on Dixie Drive from Northwoods to the Chalet Pavilion, the Volunteers, the VIP. General admission parking, you're in the south lot or in the lot directly across from the airshow property.
Lieutenant Bussey knows what he's talking about, as he spent the last decade and a half managing the airshow traffic.
This will be my 15th year coordinating this, but we've got things, every year we tweak it, try to make it better. Not that there won't be suggestions that won't help in the future, but we've got things rolling pretty good as long as you follow the signs.
Remember, the air show is a few weeks early this year. It's July 7th and the 8th, and the big attraction is going to be the U.S. Navy Blue Angels. Bussey says getting into the air show is usually not a problem for most drivers. It's the leaving part of the equation that can be problematic.
You trickle in during the day, and it's really not too bad. Let out time is always heavy. When the last act flies, you'll start to see a few folks coming out because they want to beat the crowd, but as soon as the last act flies, we got everybody wants to leave at the same time, and it's impossible. So please be patient with us. Enjoy your air conditioning. Think about the officers that are out in the hot weather. They don't want to be out there any longer than they need to get you safely home.
If you're using I-75 to get to the air show, your best bet is to get off at the Northwoods Boulevard exit. From there, you'll head west, and they'll direct you to the parking. Now, if you're driving on Dixie Drive, pay close attention because some of those lanes will close rather quickly as they're getting traffic in and out of the area. The goal for all the people working this air show is to get you out of the car, get your eyes off the road, and onto the sky where the real action takes place. That's going to do it for this edition of Vandalia By The Way. I'm Rich Hopkins. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.